of you wish to be ripped away from their families? I'm certain no one would say yes to this question. But this is the unfortunate reality for many immigrants and their families. Their lives are ripped out from under them. The Immigration Department handles deportation poorly as it rips families apart, people are dehumanized and demoralized, and people are sent back to terrible conditions. One thing that occurs is that families are separated. From this, many parents are separated from their children. According to an article by Haley Sweetland Edwards, it says he was gone by the end of spring. Before his eldest, Isabella, began talking, before Stephanie took her first steps, before Maria gave birth this winter to their third baby girl. A man was taken from his wife, Maria, who was pregnant at the time, and his two daughters, Isabella and Stephanie. Maria now had to raise her daughters by herself without a support system. Yet this isn't the only thing to result from this. Many children are left to fend for themselves. According to an article titled, U.S. Immigration Raids Leave Children Without Parents, it says, "I need my dad and mommy," 11-year-old Magdalena Gomez Gregorios told local television channel WJTV. "My dad didn't do anything. He's not a criminal." Not only do kids learn that their parents are criminals, they're left by themselves. Even if they have committed no crimes and they just wanted a better life for their family, they are criminals due to stereotypes. Many immigrants are seen as rapists, as drug dealers, as gangbangers, as all of these things. But their family members are the ones who are hurt the most, because they are the people who care about them the most. And according to an article by Jade McDowell, it says, meanwhile, Torres Medrano, who had just turned 18 and wasn't on speaking terms with their family, fell into depression. "I didn't want to live anymore," she said. Many people dealt with these things, like depression, turning to suicide, and other mental health issues. But the fact that these things aren't uncommon is gut-wrenching. In the meanwhile, many families are ripped apart, caught from deportation. Another thing that happens is that the Immigration Department dehumanizes and demoralizes people. Many immigrants are not seen as human beings. And according to an article by Von R. Newkirk II, it says, "You wouldn't believe how bad these people are. These aren't people, these are animals." And according to him, these are the exact words of our president, Donald J. Trump. Our very own president doesn't see these as people, but as animals who can be tossed around. That's not even the worst of it. Many people, especially LGBTQ people, are put into solitary confinement. And according to an article titled Immigration Equality, it says LGBTQ people are often put into prolonged solitary confinement, otherwise known as administrative segregation, for their own protection. They can be in solitary confinement anywhere from several hours to weeks at a time. It's dehumanizing and demoralizing as they get little to no human contact in that time period. But think about this. Think about the people who fear the most about being deported. Just the fear of being deported itself causes mental health issues and health issues in general. And according to an article by Elvina Limon, it says bias said that mental health issues among U.S.-born children caused by the stress of their parents and other family members living in the U.S. illegally can often lead to other health issues. She said stress causes the body to release chemicals that can cause inflammation and later lead to diseases such as diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and even cancer. Not only do the adults suffer from this, but kids our age do. People are dehumanized and demoralized. Although it may not seem like people are often demoralized, how can someone go through something like this and keep their values and morals? It seems almost impossible to keep them. But it is a God-given right to have freedom in America. But by deporting them, aren't we depriving them of their freedom? Yeah, Yes, we really are. We are depriving them of the freedom that they came to seek. Lastly, the other thing that happens is that the immigration department deports people back to terrible conditions. For some people, going back is a death sentence. According to an article titled, Report 60 plus immigrants killed after being deported, despite warning to U.S. officials. It says, in a shocking report in the New Yorker published Monday, students at Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism have identified more than 60 instances in which undocumented immigrants who were deported from the U.S. were killed shortly after returning to their home countries. Even though U.S. officials knew it was unsafe to go back, yet they still sent them back. What about other situations? Many people are deported back to brutal situations like domestic abuse or domestic violence. And according to an article by Sarah Stillman, it says she had an ex-husband across the border in Reynosa, Mexico, who had promised to kill her if she returned. According to Stillman, when they were married, the ex-husband became very physically abusive and beat her. There's many people who come to the U.S. to escape the violence. There's more violence than we think. Many immigrants have already been displaced because of conflict and violence. And according to an article by Nick Cumming Bruce, it says those who have fled their own countries, 80% of the world refugees, were taking shelter in neighboring nations, Mr. Grant said, pushing back the narrative that the majority were heading for the United States, Europe, or Australia. Many people are just trying to find a place where their lives won't be in danger anymore. They just wanted a better lives for themselves and their families. But let me ask you this. Would you be okay with starting a better life and then being sent to a place of exile and violence in just a matter of days? I'm certain I know the answer. But the way the immigration department handles deportation is detrimental. It separates families, it demoralizes and dehumanizes people, and people are sent back to horrible conditions. And what if you never got to see your family again? You'd be devastated, right? There's people who are hurt as some of them never get to see their families again. But if you think about it, when America first became a country, no one was American. There were different ethnicities such as British, Colombian, Canadian, African, Asian, and many more. However, the divisions between these ethnicities is still strong today. Thank you.